I wasn't going to talk about this today, but I don't ever want to be part of getting the facts wrong, and I may have gotten the facts wrong. So, taking the pejorative editorializations out of Sarah's comment, she is right that Ezra Hudson represented to the court that they had not named Swift in their initial disclosures and that they only amended their initial disclosures to name her in like late May or early June. So if that is the case, and I have no way to verify that because the initial disclosures don't get filed, they get served. And the ones that have been attached have all been sealed or redacted, so I don't have any way to confirm this. So assuming what Hudson said is accurate, then it's actually Friedman affidavit, then initial disclosures, then protective order. Which is maybe even more curious, I think. It doesn't fit into the timeline from yesterday that I was talking about, but it is curious because I know the Lively people say that Lively only added Taylor Swift, amended her disclosures and added Taylor Swift because they wanted to make sure that they got whatever Friedman had gotten from Swift. And that doesn't make any sense because you don't have to add someone to your initial disclosures to do that. You just ask. You don't add to your own initial disclosures newly discovered information that is good for your opposing party. Your initial disclosures and your opposing party's disclosures don't get updated every time the person opposite you finds good evidence. That's not what they're for. They're not supposed to look identical at the end. The purpose of initial disclosures is to let people know this person has knowledge about these issues and I may be using them, so you might want to depose them or find out what they know. And Lively decided to add Taylor Swift to that list in late May or early June of 2025. And what's interesting too is that she didn't add Taylor Swift as a person with knowledge about miscellaneous whatever she told Brian Friedman. She added Taylor Swift as a person with knowledge about Blake Lively's claims in the case. What she said Taylor Swift had knowledge of is complaints that were made on set and the work environment on It Ends With Us and communications about that. That is far broader than whatever Brian Friedman claims in that affidavit he was told. So the only reason for Lively to do that is because she thought, maybe Swift is in the case now, and I need to list her in case I want to use her, because it looks like maybe she's going to be part of this case after all. But then she turns around 3 weeks later and says, this isn't relevant, I shouldn't have to turn over these communications, and has for the rest of the case said, Taylor Swift isn't part of this, leave her out of it. So she has changed her mind based on the documents themselves. And I find that really curious, and I'm dying to know why that is. But, by her lawyers putting their names on a legal document saying Taylor Swift has knowledge about the claims in this case, about the sexual harassment and about the protected activity for retaliation, they made Taylor Swift relevant. Whether it was through a trick or not, and if they did, that was really stupid on their part, and these lawyers are too good for that. They know that once you name somebody as relevant on your initial disclosures, there is zero chance you're going to get a protective order stopping discovery. When you put somebody on a list of initial disclosures, you're basically saying you really ought to do discovery on this person. So for the folks for whom it is really important to nail down who brought Taylor Swift up first in the case, even though that's not relevant to the merits of the case, it does appear then that Wayfair mentioned Taylor Swift on the docket first, before Blake Lively put her in her amended initial disclosures as a formal court document. And I will upload this onto every platform where I uploaded the other video to make sure it is clear that it appears that Wayfair mentioned Taylor Swift on the docket first. However, It is also still true that Blake Lively named Taylor Swift as a person with knowledge relevant to the case and has been backtracking ever since. That fact has not changed. And maybe that matters for people and maybe it doesn't. But as I have said, I have never in my 25 years ever seen somebody